Microphone. Welcome everyone. I am your host, KevinlyFather, Kevin Williams, and sometimes my mic doesn't work right away. Looks like our chat room is working, so that's fantastic, and that's how I knew that you guys couldn't hear and clicked another button. This is what happens. We are live right now on the live stream, and we are going to be covering the RNC tonight, the Republican National Convention, coming to you from wherever they're coming from now. The actual convention itself is already over. They already did their whole nomination process, and surprise, it's Donald Trump. He's going to be their guy this year. They also introduced their platform, which is a tradition. This is what you do at the convention. You introduce your platform, you talk about who you're going to nominate, and then you nominate them. This year, the Republican platform includes nothing. There is no platform from the Republican Party. They didn't even call it in. Nothing. Their excuse is that, well, you know, coronavirus. We didn't want to get together and because of coronavirus, we couldn't do it. We couldn't come up with a platform. Somehow the Democrats managed to come up with a platform. You and me in the chat room right now, we could come up with a chat room with a platform. If you want to be in the chat room, go ahead. And if you just want to watch and join us as we go through tonight and together, then please do that too. If you want to be in the chat room, the fastest way to be in the chat room is to go to youtube.com/KevinlyFather. You'll see it come in the crawl below in a second. There it is, youtube.com/KevinlyFather. It's pretty simple. That is the fastest chat room. Otherwise, let's get going with this. We are behind time because I know there's going to be commercials right now. We just happen to have the CNN coverage. I just went back to something that looked like a pre-produced package, which they said they weren't going to do. It was all going to be live. They wanted to do it live as much as possible. So drinking word tonight is going to be, of course, Democrats. That's the good stuff right there. Howdy, Bev. Howdy, Lou. We might join MSNBC later. We'll be jumping around. If somebody starts to show commercials at us and we can't skip over them, then we will go right to the other channel. So we'll do MSNBC. By the way, on Fox News right now, Hannity. They're not covering the convention. They've got Jim Jordan, last time I checked, talking to Hannity. So they're not actually showing the convention on Fox News. That's state TV right there. And they're not. This is going to make Trump so happy. Allison, good to see you. Dr. Lizzie. Stephanie, etc. David, I saw you in here. Casey, Dee Dee. Yeah, this is a freak show. Let's get going with it right away. I already broadcast for about 2.5 hours today, so I don't have much of a voice left, so let's get into it.
Congress in Maryland's 7th District. And like Shirley Chisholm, I'm unbought and unbossed. Let me remind you, the Democrats have controlled this part of Baltimore City for over 50 years. And they have run this beautiful place right into the ground. Abandoned buildings, liquor stores on every corner, drug addicts, guns on the street. That's now the norm in many neighborhoods. You'd think Maryland taxpayers would be getting a whole lot since our taxes are out of control. Instead, we're paying for decades of incompetence and corruption. Sadly, the same cycle of decay exists in many of America's Democrat-run cities. And yet the Democrats still assume that black people will vote for them, no matter how much they let us down and take us for granted. We're sick of it.
Only 94%.
We're not going to take it anymore.
No?
The days of blindly supporting the Democrats are coming to an end. In Baltimore, we have the highest number of black Republicans in the entire country running for office this election cycle. Joe Biden believes we can't think for ourselves, that the color of someone's skin dictates their political views. We're not buying the lies anymore. You and your party have neglected us for far too long. We want safety in our neighborhoods. We want to make the most of the federal opportunity zone I'm standing in right now in West Baltimore. We want higher paying jobs and more business opportunities. We want lower taxes. We want school choice. We want a chance to get ahead, not just get by. That's what President Trump promised, and that's what President Trump delivered. I want Baltimore to be an example to Republicans around the country that we can compete in our inner cities if we reach out to the...
President Trump delivered it, so we're all good. Black unemployment rate still higher than white unemployment rate, all unemployment rate, quite frankly. But we've got the school choice. He's delivered. That's what Trump promised, and that's what Trump... So, hey, wow, she's got me. I'm voting for Trump. I didn't realize everything had been solved. I didn't understand that the unemployment rate in the black community is over 13% right now. But, yeah, great.
Citizens and deliver real results. President Trump is bringing this country back
real
roaring.
Results.
He's bringing the American spirit to life for all Americans. So I'm asking you to help President Trump complete this great American comeback. And then I'm asking you to help me start this great Baltimore comeback.
Oh, you're ready for office.
Thank you, and God bless America.
Looks like Ronna McDaniel.
Good evening. I'm Ronna McDaniel, chairwoman of the Republican National Committee. And on behalf of everyone in our party and President Trump, thank you for tuning in as we kick off this historic convention. As we speak to you tonight, we send our thoughts and prayers to those facing terrible fires in California, recovering from storms in Iowa, and preparing for hurricanes in Louisiana and the Gulf Coast.
Unbridled optimism.
Democrats started their convention last week with Eva Longoria, a famous Hollywood actress who played a housewife on TV. Well, I'm actually a real housewife and a mom from Michigan with 2 wonderful kids in public school, who happens to be the only the second woman in 164 years to run the Republican Party. And unlike Joe Biden,
that's really an indictment of the Republican Party, but go on.
President Trump didn't choose me because I'm a woman. He chose me because I was the best person for the job. 4 years ago, President Trump started a movement unlike any other. And over the next 4 days, we will hear from a few of the millions of hardworking, everyday Americans who have benefited from his leadership. If you watched the DNC last week, you probably noticed that Democrats spent a lot of time talking about how much they despise our president. But we heard very little about their actual policies.
Says the lady who's leading the Republican Party without a platform for the first time in convention history.
Policies that would have been unthinkable a decade ago.
We couldn't think of them. We couldn't think of a single goddamn policy to run on.
Policies like banning fossil fuels, eliminating private health insurance, taxpayer-funded health care for people who come here illegally, and defunding the police. Their argument for Joe Biden boiled down to the fact that they think he's a nice guy.
So just take those policies and do the opposite, and there's your platform. It's that easy. You're welcome. Put it out there.
Well, let me tell you, raising taxes on 82% of Americans is not nice. Eliminating 10 million good-paying oil and gas jobs is not nice.
You're right. And when President Trump imposed the tariffs, that was the largest tax increase on the American people in history. So yeah, that was not nice.
Policies that force jobs to flee our country or allow abortion up until the point of birth are not nice.
That's called
birth.
The
truth is, there's only one person who has empathized with everyday Americans and actually been fighting for them over the past 4 years, and that is President Donald Trump. In the nearly 4 years I've worked on behalf of President Trump, I've seen up close.
It's only one American, just one American, that's it. Out of the 330 of you callous bastards, fact check that. Out of the 330 plus million Americans, it's only one who empathizes with you. You know, the one who had the piece of paper in his hand that said, I hear you.
A man who has a deep love for family, a man who has reverence for the office of the presidency, a man with an incredible respect for law enforcement and our military. I've seen private moments where he comforts Americans in times of pain and sadness. Now, everyone knows he can be tough. He's tough when he takes on China, tough when he works to fix our unfair trade deals, tough when he fights to secure our borders. President Trump is always going to be tough when he is fighting for the American people, because nice guys like Joe cared more about countries like China and Iran than the United States of America.
I hear you.
Tonight begins a new chapter in the great American story. A story that has inspired the world for generations. And when we re-elect President Trump, this November, the best is yet to come. This election is the most important in our lifetime. Your vote counts more than ever. If you want to check your voting...
I'm not in a swing state. She's telling me my vote counts? Awesome. The Republicans want to get rid of the Electoral College. This is Trump 2020.
Status. Secure your ballot or register to vote. Text VOTE to 88022.
Okay.
Earlier today, President Trump and Vice President Pence came to North Carolina to thank our delegates for unanimously renominating them to a second term. Our official roll call and the business of our Republican convention was conducted today in Charlotte. We have created a short video to symbolize the excitement for President Trump across all 50 states and territories. Thank you for watching. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
It's United States. Oh, good. We get to see the highlights from today.
The great state of Alabama.
Alaska.
Arkansas boy.
Arizona.
Arkansas.
California.
Colorado.
Connecticut. Delaware. District of Columbia.
Florida. Georgia.
Guam. Hawaii.
Idaho.
Illinois.
Indiana.
Iowa.
Kansas.
Kentucky. Louisiana.
Maine.
Maryland. Massachusetts.
Michigan.
Minnesota.
Mississippi. Missouri.
Montana.
Nebraska.
Nevada.
New Hampshire.
New Jersey.
New Mexico. New York.
North Carolina.
North Dakota.
The Northern Mariana Islands.
Ohio.
Oklahoma. Oregon.
Pennsylvania.
I just got to say again, too many states. Way too many states. Small government, people.
Puerto Rico.
Rhode Island.
South Carolina.
South Dakota. Tennessee.
United States Virgin Islands.
Utah.
Vermont.
Virginia.
This is a highlight reel for the RNC. It's the name of every state. That's highlights from this. That's excitement.
West Virginia.
Wisconsin.
Wyoming. Are excited to nominate
Donald J. Trump and Vice President Mike Pence.
For 4 more years. Thank you for all you've done to make America great again.
It is our privilege
to nominate you for 4 more years.
and
Through
we
January.
know the best is yet to come.
We will make America great again. And ladies and gentlemen of this country, the best is yet to come.
That was not this morning. This footage they're showing about the excitement, not this morning. Also piped in crowd noise. That shot with the hanger, not this morning.
I didn't back down from my promises, and I've kept every single one.
This current administration had made hope possible.
You know, that Biden guy with the campaign poster that said, hope.
We want this nation to continue.
That's a reference to Obama, by the way. Iconic poster of him, hope at the bottom, as opposed to the current guy, which should be dope.
To be the beacon of hope for the world.
How many people said they're going to leave America if Donald Trump was elected? They're all still here, and they're not going anywhere because we are in the
Because they're not allowed out of the country. No one's going to let them in.
land of the free.
We will never, ever sign bad trade deals. America first again. America first.
America's great USMCA trade bill.
This is a big win for the United States of America. This is a great trade deal.
We are going to...
I cannot wait until the president is out of office and the other countries are free to speak of him. Now, most of them won't, but there will be some.
Lift the restrictions on the production of American energy. We will create millions of more jobs.
Hope to me is the belief in a better tomorrow and creating a better future for our children.
When I look in the eyes of my grandchildren, I want them to know that their papa was not silent.
We will rescue kids from failing schools by helping their parents send them to a safe school of their choice. We will completely rebuild our depleted military. The countries that we are protecting at a massive cost to us will be asked to pay their fair share. We will take care of our great veterans like they have never been taken care of before.
This guy saved me.
Yeah.
He saved me. Thanks to him, I'm here.
To me, he's giving people hope, what he's doing for the poor people, what he's doing for everybody.
We are going to appoint justices of the United States Supreme Court who will uphold our laws and our Constitution.
Why supporting law enforcement is so important for keeping America great.
As long as I'm president, I will never defund your police, that I promise you. It's time.
Literally signed an executive order withholding funds from police departments if they didn't cooperate. But, okay.
Time to deliver a victory for the American people. We are going to start winning again. It's called Promises Made, Promises Kept.
My name is Amy Ford. I've been a registered nurse for 17 years. I'm from the small town of Williamson, West Virginia, where I've lived my entire life, the daughter of a nurse and a coal miner. Even though I was the youngest of 4 children, I was always somewhat of a caretaker. It came natural for me. So it felt right to follow in my mother's footsteps and become a nurse. And this March, when COVID-19 sent our country into crisis, I knew I had to help any way that I could. I deployed to New York in April and then to San Antonio, Texas, working as a COVID relief nurse in both states. As I contended with the challenges of treating our patients who had their worlds turned upside down, I noticed a positive change in our healthcare system. President Trump recognized the threat this virus presented for all Americans early on and made rapid policy changes. And as a result, telehealth services are now accessible to more than 71 million Americans, including 35 million children. Prior to COVID, telehealth was not covered or reimbursed under Medicare, Medicaid, or CHIP. This left our most vulnerable populations with no other choice but to have an in-person office visit with their physicians, increasing their risk of exposure to COVID-19 exponentially. The expansion of telehealth services has also...
So she's scaring people away from going to doctor's offices. That's exactly the opposite of what we want to happen. People are not getting the checkups that they need. Consequently, cancer, etc., will rise. People are not getting the vaccines they need. That is exactly the wrong thing to say. No, Nurse Amy Ford? What was her name? Amy Ford. Yeah, Amy Ford. There it is, right on the page, Kevin. Good job. No, we don't want to spread that message. And yes, access to telehealth has increased, but it wasn't until, what was it, May, I think, before they finally signed something that said, yeah, if you just have a phone, you can just use it. But it was only video approved for a couple, let's see, it was February, March, April. It was 4 months before you could, speaking of the least privilege of our society, unless you had a smartphone, you couldn't do it. Unless you had a computer with a camera, you couldn't do it. With a regular phone, you were out of luck with telehealth if you had government programs. So, yeah, okay. But, wow. You know what? I love me somebody who wants to be a nurse. Fantastic. My sister is a nurse. God bless you, but do not tell people that it increases your chance exponentially of going to the doctor. Just, Amy, that's fucking insane. No, do not tell people not to go. Oh my God, I can't do this, people. I can't do 4 nights of this stupidity. This is dangerous. Okay. I should play the MSNBC's fact check of this nonsense with the doctor from Seattle. We're on CNN rather. Does it? Let me know where that is, and I'll see if I can find it. He says exactly that, and he's angry. I'm not a doctor, but I have played one on TV. And if you happen to be a casting director and you're shooting again, shoot me right through the fucking head, because this is insanity. Oh, how do I reel? Oh, no, I'm just acting. Thank you. This was a vignette. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. No. Please, can we pipe in some of that applause, like whenever they show Trump, that stadium full of cheering people in an airplane hangar? Oh, that's what the doc said as well. Good. What was this? MSNBC? Hold on. Where was this? We can find it if you're talking about the doctor. Yeah, let's fact check me. So this was, hold on. So about she's 33 minutes into this hour. So we can go to MSNBC, which is not showing convention coverage. Does it happen right after this speech? Okay, thank you, at random. Let's go. What? Sorry, I've already forgotten. Man, I'm worked up, guys. So this is, 33. I can see this, almost 34 minutes. So let's go 34 minutes in on the MSDNC. 33 minutes in, and go ahead and play.
For the world.
How many people said they're going to leave America if Donald Trump was elected? They're all still here. And they're not going anywhere because we are in the land of the free.
We will never,
hold on, that looks like a doctor.
bad trade deals.
All right, I think we've got it.
Quick action and leadership saved thousands of lives during COVID-19. And the benefits of that response extend far beyond coronavirus. Telehealth will continue to aid many that are just unable to find transportation or a way to the...
This screen right here, this is an exact ripoff of the DNC screen. Is this CNN that's putting together this screen? Or, sorry, it's MSNBC? And they're calling it reality check. This is not an MSNBC. This is an RNC screen. And it's an exact copy. Yeah.
Doctor for regular checkups. This is especially true in rural America. I live in a town of about 2,000 people. We do not have buses, trains, trolleys, or Ubers available to us. In addition, the unavailability of services can also hinder treatment for many. So increased access to telehealth.
So the RNC is calling their fact check reality check. And it's nonsense.
For millions of Americans
okay,
has
thank you,
truly
Robin.
been
Thank you,
life-saving.
at random and Robin,
and we
for
have
letting
President Trump to thank.
From the very beginning, Democrats, the media, and the World Health Organization got coronavirus wrong. The World Health Organization said authorities have found no clear evidence of human-to-human transmission.
Overall. And if they looked at any of the other following texts from the World Health Organization the exact same day, because they're limited to 280 characters, multiple texts from that same day from the World Health Organization saying there is no evidence that it is human-to-human transmission, but like all respiratory illnesses, further study is needed. It is possible. I think the next day or 2 days later, they said, yeah, this is January 14th, whatever. We can go back and look at this one. I'm not even going to pull up those
From
texts.
the very beginning, Democrats, the media, and the World Health Organization got coronavirus wrong. The World Health Organization said authorities have found no clear evidence of human...
yeah, January 14th. Go look at the feed, the Twitter feed from World Health Organization, January 14th. Further study is needed. There's no clear evidence of human... Preliminary investigations conducted by the Chinese authorities have found no clear evidence. Doesn't mean that there isn't evidence. And within a couple of days, yes, they had found it. And again, they're saying, these are the folks in China. This is what they're saying. Within a couple of days, they're like, yeah, no, it's definitely transmitted human to human.
Human transmission.
Overall, most people should not be terribly...
So Trump is blaming his lack of testing on the World Health Organization. By the way, by the time we needed to start testing on the 21st, when we actually had a case and we needed to start the en masse testing, we knew that it was human to human. World Health Organization had already said it was human to human.
Concerned about it.
Everything's fine here. We do want to say to people, come to
Larry,
Chinatown. Here we are. Come join us.
We don't even think it's going to be as bad as it was in other countries.
Go about your lives, go about your business.
One leader took decisive action to save lives. President Donald Trump banning travel from China and coronavirus epicenters. Biden charged xenophobia, but President Trump was...
Biden called it was xenophobic, not the actions to ban, but calling it the China virus. That's what Biden was referring to. I actually went and looked at that yesterday. But yeah, just to confirm, because I was like, that happened. Well, the doctors, Secretary Azar was announcing the China ban, Joe Biden was giving a speech. And that's the speech that they used to say, like, oh, he called it xenophobic. No, he's calling Trump's policies xenophobic, as Trump would say.
Was right, signing the CARES Act, providing immediate relief to American families, workers, and businesses, declaring a national emergency, tapping into $42 billion in existing emergency funding, quickly getting crucial personal protective...
Tapping into $42 billion of emergency... Yeah. Say, let's give that to the unemployed people. Let's cut the benefits of the unemployed. Let's take the plan, the HEROES Act, that the Democrats have already passed back in May when they expanded telehealth. Back in May, and let's not pass that. Let's take money away from FEMA and we'll give it to the unemployed people. If the states can come up with money of their own. Most states have not.
Equipment to the states.
By the way, let's hope that your state doesn't have any kind of an emergency, because your FEMA money is already spoken for.
Signing the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, ensuring that American families and businesses impacted by the virus receive the strong support they need, launching Operation Warp Speed to fast-track a vaccine in record time.
He said everything that I could have hoped for. Promise made, promise kept.
He is ready, willing, and able to help. He has been responsive. He's done a lot of good things. What the federal government did was a phenomenal accomplishment.
In our hour of need, and you all literally are helping us in a big way. We were at the edge, and this is life or death stuff, and we're...
I really hope they finish this with Trump saying, anybody who needs a test gets a test. That's what it is.
Forever thankful for that.
Soon, we will emerge safer, stronger, and greater than ever.
What was the clip of the dad shaving with his kid? What does that have to do with anything?
Accomplishments. In our hour of need, and you all literally are helping us in a big way. We were at the edge, and this is life or death stuff, and we're forever thankful for that.
Soon, we will emerge safer, stronger.
What does that have to do with anything?
And greater than ever.
I'm just going to break in here for a second as they continue to talk about COVID and the national response to that. I want to bring into the discussion here Dr. Vin Gupta, who's a pulmonary and critical care physician in Seattle and a global health policy expert. MSNBC, we just made a decision to put up on the screen there some context as the speaker claimed that the president's quick action and leadership saved thousands of lives during COVID-19. Obviously, America leads the world in COVID-19 cases and in deaths, and we have one of the worst outbreaks on earth and have for months. Dr. Gupta, let me just ask you, as you're hearing this, what you think people should understand in terms of a bit of a reality check here.
Thanks, Rachel, for the opportunity. You know, a lot of that was hard to listen to, and this is not as a partisan, but as a clinician. Number one.
Well, as a human, also, I'm with you, Doc.
For many weeks in the last 6 months, COVID-19, which we didn't even know existed towards the end of 2019, was the #1 cause of death for Americans. Last week, It was the second leading cause of death for Americans behind ischemic heart disease. So to say that 170,000 souls lost in our country up to now is success by any measure is fantasy. It's disrespectful to the families who've lost loved ones, to frontline clinicians who put their lives at risk. It's just fantasy. It's propaganda. So that's number one. Number two, I would say the reality here is, let's talk about PPE. We had to import insufficient, inadequate PPE, KN95 masks that did not meet any recognizable U.S. standard from China, from other places overseas, because we didn't have enough PPE in our strategic national stockpile.
That's
so
true.
For all your viewers out there listening to this, for anybody listening to what the RNC is doing right now, it's all propaganda. There's no truth to it. We didn't have enough PPE for our nurses, our respiratory therapists, or our physicians to
And Trump refused to enact the Defense Production Act for months.
Care for COVID critically ill patients across the country. What about testing? We still don't have enough testing, Rachel. The right type of testing, the rapid point of care tests. That
testing has gone down for the last 3 weeks.
That's why we're seeing testing numbers go down.
Okay, I'm just going to let him speak.
That one of the lowest points has been
somehow this doctor knows his shit.
In weeks. It's about 600,000 new tests a day, down from 900,000 towards the end of July. So that's important to keep in mind as well. And then finally, this notion that telehealth, the nurse that was just speaking about telehealth and progressive policies on telehealth, let me fact check that very quickly. This is the administration didn't suddenly invent telehealth and telehealth reimbursement strategies in the last few months. That's false. What? That is absolutely false. Up until the beginning of May, well into this pandemic, you needed a smartphone. You needed broadband internet access to actually communicate with the telehealth provider, someone like me, to order a test for a patient. It wasn't until the middle of May that they loosened restrictions so that you could get a test or you could communicate with the provider by phone. So let's be clear here about what's true, what's not true.
Dr. Gupta, thank you for helping us keep reality in sight here as we continue to watch this program. I think we'll be back with you as the evening progresses. Again, we are watching the first night of what is essentially an RNC TV show produced by the Trump campaign and the Republican National Committee. The convention part of this actually finished up this morning, but we're back into the program now. We are expecting over the course of this evening culminating speeches by the president's eldest son, Donald Trump Jr. And it looks like the headliner of the evening.
World War II. Patriots of every race, color, and creed rallied together to defeat the invisible enemy and save the lives of their fellow citizens.
You flatter me, Tom.
Today, our hearts overflow with appreciation for the incredible frontline workers who risk their own health and safety to keep America strong and safe. When crisis came, millions of everyday Americans rose to the challenge. In their actions, we see true greatness of the American character. We always find a way to victory. History will remember and celebrate the heroes of 2020 for as long as our great American flag waves over the land that we love. To every frontline worker, I offer the salute of a nation that is forever in your debt. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America. These are my friends. These are the incredible workers that helped us so much with the COVID. We can call it many different things, from China virus. I don't want to go through all the names because some people may get insulted, but that's the...
That was it. That was the name that insults everyone. The China virus. It's xenophobic, or as you would say, Zimaphobic. I think we have that. This is Trump in... I know I have this somewhere. This is Trump in 2016 reading the word xenophobic for the very first time after Hillary Clinton used the basket of deplorables and xenophobia. And, oh, I know I have this one, guys. I do. It's right here. Here you go. This is Trump. Hillary Clinton said that half of his supporters are in a basket of deplorables, that they are irredeemable, and that they are xenophobic. This is him reading xenophobic for the very first time.
She called these Americans every name in the book: racist, sexist, xenophobic, Islamophobic.
I can't hear that. You guys can hear that. I can't hear that in my ears, but it always makes me laugh because I can always hear him say, Zima-phobic. The way he does when he doesn't understand a word that he reads, Zima. You know, the 1980s malt beverage. Still out there, by the way, and still underwhelming. Anyway, yeah, so there's plenty of words. Like, what? These people in this room with him, why? Why does he have to call it the China virus in front of them? What is the point of that? I'm guessing they're supporters. This seems edited. Let's take a... Who stands like that? Who is that? I would just like a human for president. That's me.
The way it is, these are great, great people. Doctors, nurses, firemen, policemen. We want to thank you all. You have been incredible, and we want to thank you and all of the millions of people that you represent. Thank you all very much. Great job. Thank you. Thank you all very much. So tell me a little about your stories. How about we'll start with you?
I'm a postal worker. Delivered to...
Audio seems low to me, guys. Let me know if the volume's okay. I can adjust me down. I can't. I can't. I think I can. Nah, I can't really turn them up at all. So hopefully you guys can hear.
The senior community during COVID-19.
Good. And we're taking good care of our postal workers.
Absolutely.
That I can tell you. Believe me, we're not getting rid of our postal workers, you know? They'd like to sort of put that out there. If anyone does, it's the Democrats.
Are the Democrats, by the way, Democrats, take a drink. Are the Democrats saying the postal workers are all getting fired? I have not heard that.
That's not the Republicans. I want to thank you very much and thank everybody in that whole beautiful post office system. We appreciate it. How about you?
I'm a trucker.
Good.
I own a small business in Ohio.
Great.
Hauling steel mostly. You know, some of our customers actually made hospital beds with some of the material.
That's fantastic. Well, congratulations. I love the truckers. You know, they're on my side.
Congratulations for what?
Thank you.
I think all of them, frankly. I think pretty much all of them. How about you?
I'm a custodian at the post office as well.
What do you do exactly?
What was the point of the trucker guy? There were supposed to be questions. They're supposed to be saying something. All he says is, I'm a trucker. I take hospital beds. Yeah? Congratulations on driving hospital beds? Is that what he's saying? I think there was more there.
Clean up everybody's mess and everybody's germs and all that.
Can I tell you, that world, that profession will never be out of business. You know that, right?
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Custodial workers will never be out of business. Okay. Thank you, Mr. President, for your insight.
Much for being here. Thank you. And how about you?
I'm a registered nurse, President Trump. I work at a New Jersey hospital. It's called Virtual Willingboro Hospital.
Right.
I also represent an organization of professional nurses. It's called the National Association of Catholic Nurses.
Very good.
But I want to tell you, sir, as a nursing supervisor.
This is terrible camera work, by the way. They've got him. It's a V, or as I like to call it, a super V, with Trump in the back, set up like reverse bowling pins, so they all have to turn when they talk to him, and they don't have cameras positioned to catch her face. We're just seeing the side of her face. I mean, this is pre-planned.
I am so in awe of your leadership, honestly. I know many people have said often.
So this is a Dear Leader Super V session.
Interesting things, but it takes a true leader to be able to ignore all that stuff and do what is right and not be offended by all the words being said. Yeah. And you really do show that positive spirit to us. And as nurses, I appreciate that. But just right and not be offended by all that.
Well, I'm for the nurses. I'm for the doctors. I'm for everybody. We just have to make this China virus go away, and it's happening. Please, go ahead.
I'm also in
the chat window out of so the chat has stopped showing YouTube for some reason. You guys listen, I'll work on that. I'll come up with a solution here. Are the chats from other windows coming through on YouTube? Darn it, I had hoped this was fixed. Let's keep going on this. I will concentrate on getting the chat up on the screen here.
Nurse. I represent Genesis Healthcare, which is a skilled nursing facility company. I want to thank you and your administration for all the supplies and support and funding that you've given the skilled nursing units. Without that, we couldn't do as well as we have done. I spent some time in New Jersey. I live in West Virginia, went to New Jersey and did some work there, and we finally started to see things change and turn around.
I appreciate what you said, because we have delivered
billions of dollars of equipment that governors were supposed to give, and in many cases, they didn't get. So the federal government had to help them, and all of the people that did this incredible work, they never got credit for it. But you understand where it came from. Thank you very much. Thank you both. It's really nice. Please, go ahead.
Literally, people were stopping what they were doing and cheering from their balconies or honking or what. I mean, who has not amongst us said thank you to the first responders?
I'm a police officer in Inglewood, Colorado, and I contracted COVID in late March and recovered.
That means we don't have to be afraid of you at all. Right?
I'm good to go.
Once you're recovered, you know, we have the whole thing with plasma happening. That means
plasma.
your blood is very valuable. You know that, right? Thank you very much. Great. Please.
I'm a detention deputy at the Kern County Sheriff's Department out in California.
Great.
And I also contracted COVID end of March and recovered from that also.
How long was your problem?
I was sick about 10 days, really bad.
You could just call it illness.
Got everything besides a cough, but recovered. I was off work for a month and a half, and I work in our local county jails.
Did they do anything specifically to help you recover?
They gave me Z-Packs medication, cough syrup.
Okay, and I won't even ask you about the hydroxychloroquine because it's a shame what they've done to that one, but I took it. I took the Z-Pack also, and zinc. I want to thank you all very much. It's an honor to have you in the White House. You're fantastic people, and the people you represent an incredible group of people, and we love you all. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Good evening. We're just going to jump in here for another second in terms of some of the president's claims there, mostly about COVID, but also about the Postal Service. The president talking about his caring about the Postal Service, caring for postal workers, and wanting to take care of them. The reason that's in the news and that's in this Republican show tonight is because of President Trump's Postmaster General recently having instituted changes to the post office that have created real problems, not just threats, but material delays for the mail service all over this country in terms of people not being able to get their medications on time, live animals that usually get shipped through the mail ending up dead in postal sorting facilities, inside mail packages that didn't get shipped in time. Those changes to delay mail delivery times are things that have happened during the Trump administration. For them to be bragging about taking care of the Postal Service and it's the Democrats who are out to get it is backwards.
Yeah, so this is sad, but almost 5,000 chicks. If you're a farmer, chicks get mailed to you. 5,000 chicks in, is it Maine alone or New Hampshire? One of the smaller states in New England. More than 5,000 chicks have died on the way to the farmers. That's how you get chicks, especially if you have a chicken ranch of some kind. Chicks are bred and then sent to you in the mail because they can survive for a couple of days in these crates. It's really fascinating, actually, and I'm not really happy about it, but that's how it works, and that's how it's worked for 200 years because the Postal Service does a good job at it, and chicks are dying. So it looks like MSNBC is going to be doing a lot of this breaking in and talking about it. We'll just watch a little bit of that, and then I think I want to go back to actual RNC coverage.
The information has come from within the Postal Service. Whistleblowers inside the Postal Service are...
Oh, and so you guys, what you see over on that side of the screen, so that's the YouTube chat down below. Up above is everybody else that it looks like Twitch is coming through, and I cannot tell if someone's on Twitter or Periscope. If you want to say something, we might see it pop in there at the top. Otherwise, I'll get rid of that screen altogether. The best place to chat is you can see what's happening there with the on the white. That is youtube.com/KevinlyFather. That's the chat window that you see.
Letting people know are crying out.
Okay, yeah, Kim, you're on Periscope. So yeah, so we've got two chat windows simultaneously. This is something that I will hold Trump in credit. Thank you, Trump, for making me innovate.
Out and saying, look at these packages, piling up. All over this country, people are suffering, particularly in rural areas. People are desperate to get their Social Security checks, their paychecks, their Medicare. And,
okay, we're going to jump forward and see if we have some actual coverage here. Yeah. Love me some Nicole Wallace. Someday I'm going to marry Rachel.
The history.
I checked. She doesn't have a boyfriend. So, but, oh, here we go. This is back to, is this Herschel Walker? This is Herschel Walker. NFL
Walker's
player.
up next at the RNC.
And I think USFL player as well. Herschel Walker. Here we go.
Let's get back to it.
Most of you know me as a football player, but I'm also a father, a man of faith, and a very good judge of character. I've known Donald Trump for 37 years, and I don't mean just casual ran into him from time to time. I'm talking about a deep personal friendship. I watched him as an owner of a professional football team. Right after he bought the team, he set out to learn. He learned about the history of the team, the players, the coaches, every detail. Then he used what he learned to make the team better. I watched him in the boardroom. He can be in the middle of a big meeting, but if one of the kids was on the phone, he dropped everything to take the call. He taught me that the family should be your top priority.
And that continues through today, above country.
I watched him treat janitors, security guards, and waiters the same way he would treat a VIP. He made them feel special because he knew they were. He understands that they are the people who make this country run. They clean, they cook, they build, they drive, they deliver.
Sometimes he would help them get their immigration papers.
Told me, Herschel, make an effort to get to know people. Remember their names. That stuck with me. One time, I planned to
he told me, Herman, make an effort to get to know people.
Take his kids to Disney World with my family. At the last minute, Donald said he'd like to join us. So there he was, in a business suit, on It's a Small World ride. That was something to see.
Herschel Walker was a tremendous player. So, yes, Donald Trump would want to be near him. That's how Donald does. If you're famous, if you're general, anybody known, Donald is a leech.
It just shows you what a caring, loving father he is. It hurt my soul to hear the terrible names that people call Donald. The worst one is racist. I take it as a personal insult that people would think I've had a 37-year friendship with a racist.
So you didn't know about marking C for colored on all the rental applications back in the 70s that they settled with the Equal Opportunity Commission? Okay.
People who think that don't know what they're talking about. Growing up in the Deep South, I've seen racism up close. I know what it is, and it isn't Donald Trump. Just because someone loves and respects the flag, our national anthem, and our country, doesn't mean they don't care about social justice. I care about all those things.
Okay, what about if they love the Confederate flag? I mean, you grew up in the South and you know what racism looks like. Are those very fine people? The heritage people? The statues of the people who fought to keep slavery, Herschel? Are those the very fine people? You know what racism looks like.
So does Donald Trump.
Yes, he does.
He shows how much he cares about social justice in the black community through his actions. And his action speaks louder than stickers or slogans on a jersey. He keeps right on fighting to improve the lives of black Americans and all Americans. He works night and day. He never stops. He leaves nothing on the field. Some people don't like his style, the way he knocks down obstacles that get in the way of his goals. People on the opposing team didn't like when I ran over them either. But that's how you get the job done. I pray every night that God gives him more time. Give him 4
That was your job. That's not Trump's job.
more years. He has accomplished so much almost all by himself on a constant attack. But there's still more work to be done. If you love America and want to make it better, Donald Trump is your president. He's my president, and I'm blessed to call him friend.
Football great.
So like even without, anyway.
Herschel Walker with his personal endorsement of the president. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back on the other side with more of the Republican National Convention. Okay, now we got to leave.
Somebody find me a feed that's just, okay, so NBC, they broke it in, we passed 7 o'clock. So that's Nikki Haley. Let's go watch Nikki Haley on the Fox. Let's join live. We'll back up. We'll see what else is going on.
And then put their hands out and demand that we pay
their bills. Well, President Trump put an end to the year at the Republican
and health care for.
Oh, here we go.
Justice and equality.
So everyone just
the most progressive president.
So interestingly, in the DNC, they didn't break in. None of the channels were breaking in like this. Fox didn't cover much of it. They just did sort of a highlight at the end of the night. But MSNBC and CNN were not cutting in like this during the DNC. They're doing it for the RNC. Is that a double standard? Yes. Is it good? Yes. But you'll notice every single clip when the Republicans are showing anything to do with Bernie Sanders or the rest of the Democrats, drink. It's all dystopian editing. Look at that. I don't think the camera looked like that when he was speaking, but let's listen.
President since FDR.
The radical left has taken over the Democratic Party, and Joe Biden is marching in lockstep with them.
We just saw a picture of the squad there, AOC and her 3 others. They've taken over the Democrat Party. First off, it's Democratic. Secondly, there was an immigration fight, if you remember. It was during the lockdown. And no, sorry, it was July of last year. This is, again, the art of the deal. The guy couldn't get a lockdown solved. Not a lockdown, a government shutdown for more than 30 days. The government shut down for a record amount of time under the great deal maker. It's, that aside, that's the squad. AOC and her 3 buddies, the radical left that Fox is always so upset about. There was a vote about immigration and what should be done. And AOC had her idea about the way the Democrats should handle it. Nancy Pelosi had her idea about the way Democrats could handle it and how to compromise. And so there was a vote. And the radical left that controls the Democrat Party, 4 votes. AOC was outvoted by the entire rest of the Democratic Party. 200 plus to 4. But remember, those 4 control the entire Democrat Party. AOC and her radical squad.
Biden and the far left are promising to crush middle-class families with trillions in new taxes.
If you elect me, your taxes are going to be raised, not cut.
Promising amnesty and health care for 11
out of context,
million illegal immigrants.
Citizenship for 11 million undocumented folks.
Promising to shut down energy exploration, killing jobs and hurting America.
Wait, why are they dystopianizing the oil workers? I thought they were the good guys.
Because economy.
I guarantee you, we're going to end fossil fuel.
And Joe.
Unbridled optimism. That's the theme of tonight's RNC, by the way. The unbridled optimism.
Biden's America. The radical left get whatever they want, and you get to pay for it.
Again, in the House, 4 votes. 4 votes.
They've already taken over Joe Biden and the Democratic Party. Don't let them take over America.
Good evening. I'm Nikki Haley, and it's great to be back at the Republican National Convention. I'll start with a little story. It's about an American ambassador to the United Nations, and it's about a speech she gave to this convention. She called for the re-election of the Republican president she served, and she called out his Democratic opponent, a former vice president from a failed administration. That ambassador said, and I quote, "Democrats always blame America first."
There we go.
The year was 1984. The president was Ronald Reagan. And Ambassador Jeane Kirkpatrick's words are just as true today. Joe Biden and the Democrats are still blaming America first. Donald Trump has always put America first, and he has earned 4 more years as president.
In what way? We've lost 200,000 Americans, and we've got 10% unemployment, and the economy lost 1/3 of its value in terms of GDP. What? How has he earned anything?
It was an honor of a lifetime to serve as the United States ambassador to the United Nations.
Nikki.
Now, the
Nikki wants to be president in 2024. That's what this is all about.
UN is not for the faint of heart. It's a place where dictators, murderers,
you know, the UN that she quit,
and thieves denounce America and then put their hands out and demand that we pay their bills. Well, President Trump put an end to all of that. With his leadership, we did what Barack Obama and Joe Biden refused to do.
Which is what?
We stood up for America, and we stood against our enemies. Obama and Biden let North Korea threaten America. President Trump rejected that weakness, and we passed the toughest sanctions on North Korea in history. Obama and Biden let her.
And then we left the United Nations Human Rights Commission. Yeah! Screw those refugees.
Iran get away with murder and literally sent them a plane full of cash.
That was their money. That was money sent to Iran to save us $10 billion, because that was money that Iran paid back in the 70s for planes that they never received because they took hostages. But it was Iran's money. We were just giving Iran back their money, and Obama negotiated a deal that saved us about $10 billion. Anyway.
President Trump did the right thing and ripped up the Iran nuclear deal. Obama and Biden led the United Nations.
And last week went to the UN and said, hey, we want the snapback. We want those sanctions back on Iran. And the United States said no. Because all the 30 countries involved in the Iran deal, they're all happy with it. But America all by itself.
To denounce our friend and ally, Israel. President Trump moved our embassy to Jerusalem, and when the UN tried to condemn us, I was proud to cast the American veto. This president...
That's why I feel so much better about America right now, because the embassy moved to Jerusalem.
...has a record of strength and success. The former vice president has a record of weakness and failure. Joe Biden is good for Iran and ISIS, great for communist China, and he's a godsend to everyone who wants America to apologize, abstain, and abandon our values. Donald Trump takes a different approach. He's tough on China, and he took on ISIS and won. And he tells the world what it needs to hear.
So those ISIS attacks, the terrorist attacks the last couple of months down south, those just don't exist in our world anymore? Nobody cares?
At home, the president is the clear choice on jobs and the economy. He's moved America forward, while Joe Biden has held America back.
So 30 million jobs lost. How has Joe Biden held anything back? Joe Biden hasn't been in office.
When Joe was VP, I was governor of the great state of South Carolina. We had a pretty good run. Manufacturers of all kinds flocked to our state from overseas, creating tens of thousands of American jobs. People were referring to South Carolina as the beast of the Southeast, which I loved. Everything we did happened.
That was just you, sweetie, not the state. Sorry.
Happened in spite of Joe Biden and his old boss. We cut taxes, they raised them. We slashed red tape, they piled on more mandates. And when we brought in good-paying jobs, Biden and Obama sued us. I fought back, and they gave up. A Biden-Harris administration would be much, much worse. Last time, Joe's boss was Obama. This time, it would be Pelosi, Sanders, and the squad. Their vision for America is socialism, and we know that socialism has failed everywhere. They want to...
By the way, Trump this morning was talking about how socialism for prescription drugs is really good. That's the part he likes about socialism. But it's failed everywhere. You know, Canada, Sweden, Denmark, Norway, Finland. Failed.
Tell Americans.
United Kingdom, Germany, France.
How to live and what to think. They want a government takeover of health care. They want to ban fracking and kill millions.
The last thing we want is anyone telling Americans how to think. Do not kneel during the national anthem, you sons of bitches!
Of jobs. They want massive tax hikes on working families. Joe Biden and the socialist left would be a disaster for our economy. But President Trump is leading a new era of opportunity. Before Communist China gave us the coronavirus, we were breaking economic records left and right. The pandemic has set us back, but not for long. President Trump brought our economy back before, and he will bring it back again.
They always leave out the part where he let it collapse because we didn't test anybody in February. And we didn't do contact tracing. And we didn't use the Defense Production Act to get the necessary medical equipment that we needed for the pandemic. And the whole thing collapsed and our economy cratered. They always skip that part. Oh, but he can get it back. He can do it again.
There's one.
It's like the Seinfeld episode where he's trying to get a reservation. He's trying to get the rental car. No, you're good at taking reservations. But you have to be able to keep the reservation. You're not good at the keeping of the reservations. What's the deal with airline food? That's my Seinfeld. I'm pretty sure it sounds like somebody else, so I have to figure out who it sounds like, and then I can do Seinfeld in order to sound like the other. What's the deal?
Area where our president is right. He knows that political correctness and cancel culture are dangerous and just plain wrong.
Which is why we need to boycott. I'm going to edit this part out. Hold on. I'm sure I can do that somehow. Can I? I know I can.
My friends, I'm excited.
And I don't think that Americans
hold on. I'm editing.
ever thought that
I'm editing it. There. Are we back? Yeah. Which is cancel culture is bad. Which is why we need to boycott Goodyear. There we go. Pretty sure with the delay that all worked. What's the deal with delays?
In much of the Democratic Party, it's now fashionable to say that America is racist. That
a lot of America
is a lie. America is not a racist country.
Okay, but you're not understanding. There's lots of racists in America, is what they're saying.
This is personal for me. I am the proud daughter of Indian immigrants. They came to America and settled in a small southern town. My father wore a turban. My mother wore a sari. I was a brown girl in a black and white world. We faced discrimination and hardship. But
got it. So you face discrimination and hardship, but America doesn't have racism.
My parents never gave in to grievance and hate. My mom built a successful business. My dad taught 30 years at a historically black college, and the people of South Carolina chose me as their first minority and first female governor. America is a story that's a work in progress. Now is the time to build on that progress and make America even freer, fairer, and better for everyone. That's why it's so tragic to see so much of the Democratic Party turning a blind eye towards riots and rage. The American people know we can do better. And of course we value and respect every black life. The black cops who've been shot in the line of duty, they matter. The black small business owners who've watched their life's work go up in flames, they matter.
Yes, they
do. The black kids who've been gunned down on the playground, their lives matter too.
Yes.
And their lives are being ruined and stolen by the violence on our streets.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like this.
Have any of the have you seen any Democratic candidates say they're pro-violence? Because they did an 8-minute segment on gun violence in America during their DNC. So I don't know why the Republicans keep saying there was nothing in the DNC, the Democratic National Convention, about violence. That Democrats never ignored it completely. There's an 8-minute segment on gun violence in America. So I don't know what part of that is ignoring violence.
It wasn't like this in South Carolina 5 years ago. Our state came face to face with evil. A white supremacist walked into Mother Emanuel Church during Bible study. 12 African Americans pulled up a chair and prayed with him for an hour. Then he began to shoot.
How dare you? How dare you say America's a racist country? Shame on you, Nikki.
After that horrific tragedy, we didn't turn against each other. We came together, black and white, Democrat and Republican. Together, we made the hard choices needed to heal and removed a divisive symbol peacefully and respectfully.
So you're calling it a divisive symbol?
What happened then should give us hope now. America isn't perfect, but the principles we hold dear are perfect. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that even on our worst day, we are blessed to live in America. It's time to keep that blessing alive for the next generation.
Missing the point. Yes, we are blessed to live in America, but it's not a perfect place. There are racists here.
President and this party are committed to that noble task. We seek a nation that rises together, not falls apart in anarchy and anger. We know that the only way to overcome America's challenges is to embrace America's strengths. We are striving to reach a brighter future where every child goes to a world-class school chosen by their parents, where every family lives in a safe community with good jobs, where every entrepreneur has the freedom to achieve and inspire, where every believer can worship without fear and every life is protected, where every girl and boy, every woman and man of every race and religion has the best shot at the best life. In this election, we must choose the only candidate who has and who will continue delivering on that vision. President Trump and Vice President Pence have my support, and America has our promise. We will build on the progress of our past and unlock the promise of our future. That future starts when the American people re-elect President Donald Trump.
Well,
thank you, good night, and may God always bless America.
And your heart. So Donald Trump Jr. is the keynote speaker tonight because he's been at the bottom of the Fox cover the entire time.
American story. To talk about this country
Here he is.
Good evening, America. I'm Donald Trump Jr. We're here tonight to talk about the great American story, to talk about this country we all love, this land of promise and opportunity, of heroes and greatness. Just a few short months ago, we were seeing the American dream become a reality for more of our citizens than ever before. The greatest prolonged economic expansion in American history, the lowest unemployment rate in nearly 50 years. The lowest unemployment rates ever for Black Americans, Hispanic Americans, women.
What is wrong with Donald Jr.? Take a look at Don. This is either really bad lighting and makeup or what is going on with him?
And pretty much every other demographic group. And then,
was he just crying off screen?
Courtesy of the Chinese Communist Party, the virus struck. The president quickly took action and shut down travel from China.
He did not. He never shut down travel from China.
Joe Biden and his Democrat allies called my father a racist and a xenophobe for doing it.
No, not for doing that. The part where he called it the China virus, that's what they called him a xenophobe for.
Put political correctness ahead of the safety and security of the American people.
Your dad let everyone back in, except for Chinese nationals, and it did include Hong Kong and Macau.
Fortunately, as the virus began to spread, the president acted quickly and ensured ventilators got to hospitals that needed them most. He delivered PPE to our brave frontline workers, and he rallied the mighty.
It's just PPE, not PP and E. Personal protection and equipment. Slow down, Don. Take a breath here, Don.
American private sector to tackle this new challenge. There's more work to do.
Just so you know, there was never a China travel ban. Trump never shut down flights from China. Italy shut down flights from China. Trump never did.
But there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Job gains are outpacing what the so-called experts expected. But Biden's radical left-wing policies would stop our economic recovery cold. He's already talking about shutting the country down again.
If the scientists say you need to shut the country down. Yes, because science and all the other countries that do real shutdowns, remember, we never really shut down. That's the reason we're in this mess to begin with. Hold on, I'll show you. This is a wonderful comment from the Fauci. I'm going to pull it up right now. Here it is. This is everything in a nutshell. Let me make sure I'm not blocking you guys. Right here. Dr. Fauci, kids.
Too soon.
In the United States, even in the most strict lockdown, only about 50% of the country locked down. That allowed the perpetuation of the outbreak that we never did get under very good control.
There it is. There's the scientist. That's the guy that Joe Biden would listen to. And if that guy said we need to shut down, we need to shut down. Why? Because we fucked this up royally. Oh no, we didn't. We saved millions of lives. And yet all the other countries on the planet don't have millions of dead people. We have more than anybody. It's not even close in terms of population, in terms of per capita, in terms of however you want to phrase it. We screwed the pooch on this one, Don. Anyway, I want whatever he's having. Kevinly Kitties stirring something up out there. Come on in. Come here. People want to see you. You're more interesting than Don. Back to Don.
It's madness.
Yeah,
Democrats claim to be for workers, but they've spent the entire pandemic trying to sneak a tax break for millionaires in Democrat states into the COVID relief bill. Then they attacked my father for suspending the payroll tax for middle-class workers. In fact, if you think about it, Joe Biden's entire economic platform seems designed to crush the working man and woman.
So the payroll tax that he's talking about, it's not a tax cut, it's just a deferment. It says we're going to take the tax break or the tax off your paycheck right now, the Social Security, the FICA, all that stuff. We're going to let you keep it for now, and then at the end of the year, you're going to give it to us. That's it. It's a deferment, not a cut.
He supported the worst trade deals in the history of the planet. He voted for the NAFTA nightmare. Down the tubes went our auto industry. He pushed for TPP. Goodbye, manufacturing jobs. Beijing Biden is so weak on...
PPP never happened. TTT. The TP and P never happened. We're not part of it. So manufacturing jobs did not disappear because of that. We're not part of it, Don. This is just nonsense.
China, that the intelligence community recently assessed that the Chinese Communist Party favors Biden.
Yeah.
They know he'll weaken us both economically and on a world stage.
They like him because he's not fucking nuts. He's predictable.
Biden also...
And he'll keep to the deals.
So wants to bring in more illegal immigrants to take jobs from American citizens. His open border policies...
Which would make them legal immigrants.
...would drive wages down for Americans at a time...
See, if they're legally coming in, which is what the Democrats and lots of Republicans want. We need migrant workers. Well, actually, not so much anymore, now that we have 30 million unemployed Americans who can do the farm work.
When low-income workers were getting real wage increases for the first time in modern history. He's pledged to repeal the Trump tax cuts, which were the biggest in our country.
Biggest in our country? Left off history there, because it's not true. The Trump tax cuts were not the biggest in the country's history. They say that all the time. Not even close.
After 8 years of Obama and Biden's slow growth, Trump's policies have been like rocket fuel to the economy, and especially to the middle class.
No, The stock market has grown slower than under Obama. Job growth comparatively is down. Manufacturing was in a contraction. Trump said we were going to get to 4, 5, 6%, maybe even more GDP growth. Before the virus, we were at 2.1. All Trump did was take what Obama gave him and slow it down. Do not believe anything else. I mean, I don't even want you to believe something. I want you to verify it. Go look at it. Find something that I'm lying about and let me know. These are all things you can look up.
Biden has promised to take that money back out of your pocket and keep it in the swamp.
What?
That makes sense, though, considering Joe Biden is basically the Loch Ness Monster of the swamp.
Okay, first off, there is no Loch Ness Monster. Secondly, there's no swamp. Washington was never actually a swamp. Think about it. Capitol Hill, it's a hill. Swamps don't have a lot of hills. That's sort of how gravity works.
For the past half century, he's been lurking around in there. He sticks his head up every now and then to run for president. Then he disappears and doesn't do much in between. So if you're looking for...
If you're going to criticize Joe Biden's record, you can't say that he doesn't do much.
Hope. Look to the man who did what the failed Obama-Biden administration never could do and built the greatest economy our country has ever seen.
No.
And President Trump will do it again. We will be stronger than ever because when we put our mind to it, there is no obstacle that America can't surmount. Except there's a difference this time. In the past, both parties believed in the goodness of America. We agreed on where we wanted to go. We just disagreed on how to get there. This time, the other party is attacking the very principles on which our nation was founded. Freedom of thought, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, the rule of law. Thomas Jefferson famously said, "I have sworn upon the altar of God eternal hostility against every form of tyranny over the mind of man." Our founders believed there was nothing more important than protecting our God-given right to think for ourselves. Now, the left, they're trying to cancel all of those founders.
Literally nothing in the Constitution about thinking. How do you stop someone from thinking? I mean, besides inviting them to the RNC.
They don't seem to understand this important principle.
What?
In order to improve in the future, we must learn from our past, not erase it.
Yes.
So we're not going to tear down monuments and forget the people who built our great nation. Instead, we will learn.
But we have books and television and papers and what do statues teach us? They glorify the people that are being personified with the
from our past so we don't repeat any mistakes. And we will work tirelessly to improve the lives of all Americans. Joe Biden and the radical left are now coming for our freedom of speech. They want to bully us into submission. If they get their way, it will no longer be the silent majority.
How is Joe Biden bullying anybody into freedom of speech submission? What does that even mean? Is this because you got banned from Twitter for a day, Don Don?
It will be the silenced majority. This has to stop. Freedom of expression used to be a liberal value, at least before the radical left took over. Now the Republican Party is the home of free speech, the place where anyone from any background can speak their mind. And
unless they're Goodyear.
The best ideas win. People of faith are under attack. You're not allowed to go to church, but mass chaos in the streets gets a pass.
No, Biden has condemned the mass chaos in the streets. And yes, you're allowed to go to church. There's telechurch, there's churches in parking lots, there's churches outside. And here's the thing, God is wherever you go, wherever 2 or more of you are gathered in my name, and that's under 10, by the way, there is love. And there I am.
It's almost like...
That's from, my mother was a minister, so that's from 2 Collusions, verse 45, I think.
This election is shaping up to be church work, and school versus rioting, looting, and vandalism. Or, in the words of Biden and the Democrats, peaceful protesting.
No. No, Biden has specifically come out and condemned the rioting and the looting. This is absolute nonsense.
Anarchists have been flooding our streets, and Democrat mayors are ordering the police to stand down. Small businesses across America, many of them minority-owned, are being torched by mobs. The Democrat mayors pretend it's not happening. They actually called it a summer of love. And that brings...
Well, I went to CHOP up in Seattle. That was Mayor Jenny Durkin who called it a summer of love. And honestly, it was. It was pretty trashy. It got dirty towards the end. But they actually had volunteer trash picker-uppers, custodians. You know, that's one business that'll never go away. This is, okay, I was just looking at Daniel Dale over here. And he has one of the quotes from Biden. This is from a Joe Biden article. Protesting such brutality is right and necessary. We're talking about going out and peacefully protesting. It's an utterly American response. But, this is Biden, burning down communities and needless destruction is not. Violence that endangers lives is not. Violence that guts and shutters businesses that serve the community is not an American response. But anyway, Biden wants everybody to burn.
Brings me to another important principle. Every American must be free to live without fear of violence in your country, in your communities, and in your homes.
So I should play the thing with the DNC and the gun violence right now? Is that...
All men and women are created equal and must be treated equally under the law. That's why we must put an end to racism, and we must ensure that any police officer who abuses their powers is held accountable.
Yeah.
What happened to George Floyd is a disgrace, and if you know a police officer, you know they agree with that too.
Not the 4 guys that killed him, but okay.
We cannot lose sight of the fact that our police are American heroes. They deserve our deepest appreciation. Because no matter what the Democrats say, you and I both know when we dial 911, we don't want it going to voicemail. So defunding the police is not an option. Everything starts with safety and security.
Thank God Biden doesn't want to defund the police. He actually wants to increase funding to the police, but...
Security. Okay. You can't have anything else without it. You can't focus on building a better future for your children without the peace of mind that they can study safely in their classrooms, play safely in their neighborhoods, and sleep safely in their beds. But safety is only the beginning. Trump's America is a land of opportunity, a place of promise. I was fortunate enough to grow up in a family that could afford the best schools and the finest universities.
Then what happened?
But a great education cannot be the exclusive right of the rich and powerful. It must be accessible to all. And that's why my dad...
By the way, I've been noticing the chat room now. It's doing its own thing. It's including the YouTube, which is nice for the people in the YouTube. I haven't seen a Twitter or Periscope comment in a while, or Facebook. So if you're on Facebook or Twitter, just say hi to test the chat room. I'm doing my best here, guys. The chat room is doing what it's doing, but let's continue. Anyway, so if you're on Twitter and your chats are not getting through, then please go to facebook.com/KevinlyFather. That is the chat that seems to be coming. That is the chat that seems to be coming through right now.
That is pro-school choice. That's why he's called education access the civil rights issue, not just of our time, but of all time. It is unacceptable.
So school choice is now the civil rights issue of all time. You know, forget, for example, slavery.
That too many African American and Hispanic American children are stuck in bad schools just because of their zip code. Donald Trump will not stand for it.
He will fix the public school system. Yes, Donald Trump, 2020.
If Democrats really wanted to help minorities and underserved communities.
Oh, okay, so now Periscope is coming through, and Periscope is Twitter. So, okay, everybody, enjoy.
Instead of bowing to big money union bosses, they'd let parents choose what school is best for their kids. They'd limit immigration to protect American workers. They'd support the police who protect our neighborhoods. They'd learn how to negotiate trade deals that prioritize America's interests for a change. They'd end the endless wars and quit sending our young people to solve problems in foreign lands.
Trump could have done that. He's had 4 years to do that. Instead, he increased the troop presence in Afghanistan.
They'd cut taxes for families and workers. They'd create opportunity zones that drive investment into inner cities. In other words, if Democrats cared for the forgotten men and women of our country, they'd do exactly what President Trump is doing. America is the greatest country on earth, but my father's entire worldview revolves around the idea that we can always do even better. Imagine the life you want to have. One with a great job, a beautiful home, a perfect family. You can
kind of have that.
Have it.
Yeah, I know.
Imagine the country you want to live.
Okay, I don't have a job. I mean, I was kind of working anyway.
Live in one with true equal opportunity, where hard work pays off and justice is served with compassion and without partiality. You can have it. Imagine a world where the evils of communism and radical Islamic terrorism are not given a chance to spread, where heroes are celebrated and the good guys win. You can have it.
With Biden? Because your dad's been in office for 4 years. And those things aren't true.
That is the life. That is the country. That is the world that Donald Trump and the Republican Party are after. And yes, you can have it.
But why don't I already have it? Do you see what you're saying here? Because Donald Trump has been in power, and the Republicans have been in power for 4 whole years now. What the hell have they been waiting for?
Because unlike Joe Biden and the radical left Democrats, our party is open to everyone. It starts by rejecting radicals who want to drag us into the dark and embracing the man.
Our party is open to everyone. It starts by rejecting some people.
Who,
his words,
represents a bright and beautiful future for all. It starts by re-electing Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. Thank you, and God bless America.
Well, that was underwhelming.
Donald Trump Jr., a passionate defense of his father, calling Joe Biden Beijing Biden.
Are they okay? I might just have to go to C-SPAN to get some coverage here. Nobody's actually covering anything right now. Looks like I've got a hockey game going at the bottom there, and I don't want to ruin anything for myself. Let's go to the C-SPAN and see if we can pick up on what's going on. Was that it? Is that the end of the... Does it end at 8 o'clock, 8, 9, 10, 11? And 11 o'clock Eastern time? I don't even know. Let's see here. Yeah. That's it? Hold on. Let's see what's going on. Sorry. Ad from C-SPAN.
02 748
8903. We didn't even see Tim Scott. Okay, so that's it. That's the coverage for today. Yeah, 8 o'clock. I guess that's it. I guess they wrap things up around 8 o'clock. Tim Scott spoke. We missed it completely. Tim Scott is hoping he's the nominee in 2024. It's probably going to be Tim Scott, Nikki Haley, if the Republican Party exists at that point. If Trump wins, he's going to try and get Don Jr. Actually, he doesn't have the confidence in Don Jr. to push him to be president. I mean, from that speech, not a good speech maker. You got to be a pretty decent speech maker. Even Biden, all you got to do is read off the teleprompter, apparently, and you wow everyone. I thought Biden's speech was actually pretty good. Especially when the standard, when your opponent sets the standard of Joe Biden doesn't even know he's alive, not hard to get over that bar, quite frankly. Completely insane strategy. So that's it, kids. I hope you enjoyed. At some point, Kevinly Daughter is going to want to picked up. It's 8 o'clock and I haven't had dinner, so I should probably do that. You guys take care of yourself. If you enjoyed this broadcast. I'm glad that you did. If you want to support it, go to KevinlyFather.com. We'll do the same thing hopefully tomorrow, the next day, the next day. Throughout the day as things have been happening, we've been breaking in as well. Oh, God. David Mickelson just suggested Kaylee McEnany, we call her Kaylee Macaroni, and Candace Owens 2024. Well, there's your diversity right there. So, yeah. So we'll watch this tomorrow. I don't know. Let's see if Trump has responded to anything here. I'm sure he's been watching. Let's go to the Twitters. Let me close this. Give me a second here. Oh, here's the Twitters right here. Let's see if Mr. Trump has said anything about this. Real Donald Trump. There he is. 23 tweets in the last hour. Okay, so he did a little something on Tim Scott here. Let's see what he had to say.
I met my mentor, John Moniz, a Chick-fil-A operator. John saw something in me that I could not see in myself and started teaching me valuable life lessons, like having a job would be a good thing.
Okay, no one told you that before this?
But creating jobs would be even better.
Oh,
that
okay.
Having an income could change my lifestyle, but creating a profit could change my community. He planted the seeds of what would become opportunity zones. This initiative that the president and I worked together on is now bringing more than
with Cory Booker, Democrat, New Jersey,
$75 billion of private sector investment into distressed communities. The next year,
okay, well that's good then. Don. Wait. Okay, Nikki Haley. I don't know who this is. Let's find out.
Miami, Florida. Not far from the state of Florida. Which is
this is a Miami businessman. Yeah, of course I'm following Trump. I have to keep tabs on what's going on. And by have to, I mean I don't have to, but I do. It's pretty entertaining. Okay, so that's just zeroing out. Let's go on to the next one.
Many of the ideas we fought for that were considered radical are now mainstream.
The compromise that they came up with, if implemented, will make Biden the most progressive president since FDR.
The radical left has taken over the Democratic...
Oh, we saw this part. Yeah, the radical left has taken over the Democrat Party. Here's something scary. What's this about? That's from Team Trump, so I don't even know if that's a real thing. Oh, here we go. This must have been during the convention. Yeah, we missed it.
Various countries, and a hostage were held. We have 6 incredible people who were held hostage by various countries.
Oh.
And I'm very pleased to let everybody know that we brought back over 50 hostages from 22 different countries.
Good.
We worked very hard on it, Ambassador O'Brien and others. And I will tell you, we're very proud of the job we did. But I'd like to ask maybe Pastor Brunson to say a few words so we can go through and just give us a little history of what happened and how is life treating you.
I was held in Turkey for 2 years, and you took unprecedented steps, actually, to secure my release, and your administration really fought for me. And I think if you hadn't done that, I may still be in Turkey. So I'm very grateful.
28 years, right? They had you there they had you scheduled for a long time, Andrew.
Yes.
We had to get you back. And I have to say that, to me, President Erdogan was very good. And I know they had you scheduled for a long time, and you were a very innocent person. And he ultimately, after we had a few conversations, he agreed. So we appreciate that, and we appreciate the people of Turkey. And you still appreciate the people of Turkey, I understand, right?
We love the Turkish people. We still
That's great. It's great to have you back, Andrew. Thank you. Please.
Mr. President, thank you for having me.
Thank
My
you.
name is Sam Goodwin. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. I was held in Syria for 63 days, and I think I speak for my fellow former hostages and detainees here when I say I'm as grateful as I've ever been for anything to be home safely. And thank you for the invitation and opportunity to be here. Particularly, Ambassador O'Brien was incredibly supportive and helpful to my family, and can't say enough nice things about him. Thank you for promoting him.
Good.
And just really happy to be here, so thank you.
We got you back.
You got me back, yeah.
We got you all back, and we have some more that we're working on right now to get back that we better do. Please, go ahead.
My name is Michael White, Mr. President. I do, once again, it's an honor to be here, honor to meet you in person. Basically, what had happened with me is I traveled over to the country of Iran. It turned out it was a major trap, and I was apprehended there. I went through a lot in their injustice system, in the Iranian justice system. Iran is an oppressive, extortionist, terrorist regime. You know what I'm talking about. But what you did, sir, is you were able to get me out of that prison in record time. It was amazing.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
I don't know who's keeping records on hostages kept in Iran in terms of time, but okay.
The honor's all mine.
Please.
Yeah, my name's Josh Holt. This is my wife, Tammy.
Yes.
We were held hostage in Venezuela for 2 years.
I know very well.
And you helped us get out. Senator Hatch worked with you very well on that as well. And it was a great honor to be able to meet you right when we got back. And I remember a lot of people asking me, what was it like meeting President Trump? And I just say I was blown away. I had just gotten released after 2 years. Then I'm shaking the hand of the president in the Oval Office. So I don't really remember a whole lot of it. So it's nice to meet you again. And it's been great. It's been great to be back, helping people through situations that they've gone through. And now we have started our family.
Well, the great people of Utah really wanted me to do something about the two of you, and we were able to do it. And a little bit of a miracle, I think, frankly.
It was.
Because it was a very hostile period. And we appreciate everybody working so hard with us, but we were able to get you both back. And are you living in Utah now, I hope?
We're still living in Utah.
That's good. We'll say hello to the folks in Utah because they're great people. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Please.
I'm Brian Aaron. Spent an unexpected trip there in India. I was not going to India. I was going through India to Nepal, where I've been working for the last 18 years. But on behalf of my family and myself, thank you, President Trump, for getting us out and getting us home. The darkest moment of our whole time together, your letter to my wife came, and it really gave her the hope and the peace. And
that's great.
From that time forward, as more people got involved, especially the ambassador there in India, things became more peaceful, and the hope was there for the last 4 months that we really would get to come home, because they had planned on keeping me for 3 to 5 years.
I was totally convinced this last guy was going to say, I'm one of 350 Americans that can't leave. There's nowhere we can go. Thanks to you, President Trump. It's good. So Obama got 11 hostages out of North Korea during his 8 years. He's never done this. He's never held a big political convention with Joe Biden saying, look at all these hostages that we got out. It's the job of the State Department, of the President of the United States. Here's another guy. Let's take a look at him. Who we got?
And it is an honor to be here. In 2006, the Army sent me to Afghanistan as a young platoon leader, placed in command of Americans from every corner of our planet.
He's running for office.
Our platoon reflected the diversity of our nation, every race, creed, and religion. Despite those differences, we were bound together as brothers from the same American family. On June 10, 2006, our platoon was attacked just after dawn. Outnumbered 10 to 1, we endured mortar and machine gun fire as hundreds of Taliban charged us from 3 sides. We had 24 men that day. Wave after wave of Taliban advanced up the hill. I was wounded 3 times in the fighting. Nearly all of my platoon was wounded within the first minute, but the enemy kept coming.
Wow.
We fought to our last rounds of ammunition, and when it was over, we held the hill. In the face of death, I saw ordinary Americans become heroes. In our darkest hour, when our survival depended on each other, my men and I learned an important lesson.
Is this about Donald Trump's military service? Was he part of the platoon? Is that where this is going? I hope so. I love to hear stories about Donald Trump, like when that time when they took a picture of him, he's riding on that tank. There's explosions everywhere. This is probably about when he was serving in the Taliban.
We all...
Oh, sorry. When he was serving and fighting the Talibanis.
Bleed red.
Yeah.
Our differences did not define us. United, we were unbeatable.
Uh-huh.
After 485 days of combat, I came home eager to enjoy the freedoms I risked my life to defend.
Awesome.
But I watched with alarm as the party of my grandfather, a lifelong Union Democrat, turned against the very people it professed to represent.
What?
I watched as Joe Biden spit venom at an auto worker who dared to question Joe's intent to dismantle the Second Amendment and take your guns. Where Democrats once stood for hard-working, law-abiding Americans who displayed our flag with pride, this new Democrat Party considers these people uneducated racists clinging to guns and Bibles. The party of Harry Truman became the party of hedge fund managers, Hollywood celebrities, tech moguls, and university professors, all bloated with contempt for middle America.
And the majority of Americans, them too, besides the hedge fund 94% of African Americans, 60% of Hispanic Americans, but yeah, also hedge fund managers and Hollywood stars.
I look across the aisle and I do not see a party that wants you to pursue your dreams. I see a Democrat Party that wants to dictate what those dreams are. I don't see a party that wants you to be free. I see a party that wants to chain you to conformity and will destroy anyone they deem a heretic. I swore an oath to defend my country and its Constitution. President Trump has sworn to do the same.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be about his military service. Go on, tell us, regale us.
That's why he's advanced freedom, despite savage political attacks to overcome the agenda of the radical left. President Trump has unleashed the economic might of this nation like no other president in our history.
And then we've got the 30 million unemployed. Is that part of the economic?
Triggered the rising tide of working families, brought us energy independence, reclaimed jobs.
We're not energy independent.
Jobs from overseas that, Democrats said would never return.
That's just not true.
He has fiercely defended the besieged First and Second Amendments. That is...
Who is besieging the Second Amendment? Who's doing that? Who is besieging the First Amendment? Who? What? In what way? Let me know.
Just to start. With 4 more years, imagine what we can achieve by simply working with our president. I believe in our president's vision for the future. I stand here tonight calling on all Americans to join us. It doesn't matter what you look like, who you love, how you worship your gender or your job. If you're a traditional Democrat who's become...
Unless you're trans, and then you can't serve in the military, like our brave leader, President Trump. Colonel First Class.
Disillusioned with how radical your party has become? Then stand with us. You are most welcome. America needs all her patriots to rush to her defense. My fellow Americans, I promise you this. In our tent, you are free. Free to speak the truth.
Free to serve in the military if I'm trans? Am I free to do that?
Choose your journey. Define your life.
Can I choose my junk? Trans reference.
Have the power to go as far.
I'm glad Kevinly daughter isn't watching right now because she'd get really mad at me for that.
As you aim, then aim higher and keep going, because that is what Americans do. We are idealists and dreamers, lovers of adventure. We're rugged and independent. We don't make excuses. We make the impossible a reality. Think about it. In a century, we went from ground-bound dreamers gazing to the stars to doers who created the means to reach them.
We have not reached a star. The moon is not a star. Mars is not a star. If we reach a star, we're going to be in deep, deep trouble.
This is not the time to stand on the sidelines. If you love our country as we do, as our president does, join the chorus of patriot voices that will preserve this exceptional union.
Okay.
Mr. President? Lead the way.
Okay.
Millions in our American family believe in this path to destiny. Guide us to that horizon. Thank you, and may God bless.
I get it. So he's asking the president to guide us to this promised land and away from this nightmare that he's guided us into by not testing in February, screwing up the tests and ignoring the problem. Close to zero. We've got it under control. It's one case from China. It's under control. Calling it the China virus. Stopping flights from China, which he didn't actually do. Stopping flights from Europe, which he didn't actually do. But okay, so I'm with this guy. I like him. Thank you for your service, buddy. Oh, Scalise.
Congressman Steve Scalise. We're facing some tough challenges in America. This isn't the first time we've been here. I've worked closely with Donald Trump over the last few years, and if there's one constant theme to how he approaches problems, it's how much he cares about.
Yeah, ground-bound. Also, we need not to be ground-bound. We need to go to the stars. You know, the hot, gaseous balls of flame.
The hardworking people that Washington left behind. I've seen this firsthand. After I was shot on a baseball field by a...
So until next week, keep your feet on the dirt and look to the glowing, gaseous balls of flame.
A leftist gunman. First responders rushed me to a...
I'm Casey Kasem.
Hospital where I battled for
That's my Casey Kasem.
my life. That same night, Donald Trump came to the hospital along with First Lady Melania Trump. They consoled my wife Jennifer. They were there for my family in my darkest hours.
Yep.
Donald Trump would call to check on me throughout the following weeks just to see how I was doing.
Okay, but how many times did Joe Biden call you?
That's the kind
Without even hearing about the shooting.
of person he is. That's the side of Donald Trump that the media will never show you. Look.
We don't have to, because Donald has literally talked about it 40 times.
There's a lot at stake.
And what does he say? He says something about Scalise that's weird. Oh, he said that he saw it happen. That he saw the shooting happen. That's what he's claimed.
This is an election between a party that wants to burn down the foundations of our country to the ground and a party that wants to rebuild and protect our great nation.
Are you being just a tad bit dramatic there, Steve?
The left wants to defund the police. This is personal to me. I wouldn't be here without the bravery and heroism of the men and women in law enforcement who saved my life. President Trump stands with those brave men and women. Joe Biden has embraced the left's insane mission to defund them. There won't be an America to lead.
Sorry, Steve. This is more interesting. This is Trump talking about Scalise.
But the doctor came in. The wife is like, she was a total mess.
Jennifer,
she was
his
really
wife,
devastated. And it really looked like he had a 25% chance. I think you said a record for blood loss. And Steve
Scalise not only got shot, but he also set a record for blood loss. You know, because records, blood loss records. It's in Guinness.
Scalise, I actually, honestly, I think you're better looking now. You're more handsome now. You weren't that good looking. You look good now. He looks better now. Can you believe it? I don't know what the hell that is.
Okay, some friendly jibing. No problem with that. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Better now.
It's true. Okay.
What a guy. And he was practicing. He was practicing for the baseball game against, I guess, the Democrats, right? And this whack job started shooting, hurt Rogers. I don't know if Rogers is here, but hurt a number of people, hit him, but really hit Steve. Steve was at second base. He was the second baseman. And he went down, and it was terrible. I mean, I saw the whole thing, and it was terrible. Unfortunately...
there it is.
The second baseman. And he went down, and it was terrible. I mean, I saw the whole thing, and it was terrible.
He saw the whole thing. Nobody was televising the practice. No, he did not see the whole thing. He imagines in his head, because he's nuts, that he saw the whole thing. No, but he was not there at the field. He did not see Steve Scalise get shot, but claims that he did. Just because, you know, that's just how it is with Trump. Like, what? That's insanity. I'm sorry, but if Obama had said something like that, it would be on Hannity every single night, over and over again. Trump has so much garbage that comes out of his mouth that I've never seen anybody else comment on that. Not once. Saw the whole thing. Speaking of seeing the whole thing, here's Kimberly Guilfoyle.
America, I'm Kimberly Guilfoyle. I speak to you tonight as a mother, a former prostitute.
You know, I don't care if you were a former prostitute. I don't care. I can't with Kimberly. Opening prayer. What's this about?
These are my friends.
Oh, we saw that part. Who's this?
We are Mark and Patty McCloskey.
Oh God. Okay, these are Karen and Ken with the guns. So My biggest problem with that, I don't have a problem with them standing on the front lawn with their big guns and stuff like that. I do have a very serious problem with Patricia when she was holding her gun. By the way, everyone who owns a gun should have to take a gun safety class and pass it and get recertified. I mean, we have to get recertified to drive a car. And those are not weapons created to kill. Guns are. That might be Kevinly daughter. Let me check. Okay, cool. She's almost done. So when Patricia was standing there and they're threatening the protesters going by the way, peaceful protesters in that case, she had her finger on the trigger. You're never supposed to have your finger on the trigger until you are going to shoot, because guns go off. You don't want to do that. You want to have, God damn it. Who took my guns? I don't have any guns to show you. Kitty, where are my guns? So imagine this is a gun. No, that's too white. Okay, I'm just going to use my finger. This is a gun. You're supposed to have your finger like this on the outside of the trigger guard, okay? And then when you're ready to fire, you put it on the inside of the trigger guard and you fire. Oh, and you do this with your thumb too, apparently. And you say, pew, 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 pew. Anyway, here's them.
We're speaking to you tonight from St. Louis, Missouri, where just weeks ago you may have seen us defending our home as a mob of protesters descended on our neighborhood.
I wish that was a closer picture, but because you can see her, every shot I've seen of her is with her on the trigger, which is incredibly dangerous. And I haven't seen one gun nut point out the fact that she's holding the gun the wrong way. She should not have had a gun. He held it the right way. So, great job.
America is such a great country that not only do you have the right to own a gun and use it to defend yourself, but thousands of Americans will offer you free advice on how to use it. At least that's what we experienced.
Yeah, and did they tell you to not put your finger on the trigger until you're ready to...
What you saw happen to us could just as easily happen to any of you who are watching from quiet neighborhoods.
No, because I don't have any guns. Because someone took them off my desk, goddammit! Kitty!
Around our country. And that's what we want to speak to you about.
If Biden gets elected, is that what's... Because right now, what happened to you happened in Trump's America.
Tonight.
That's exactly right. Whether it's the defunding of police, ending cash bail so criminals can be released back out on the streets the same day to riot again, or encouraging anarchy and chaos on our streets, it seems as if the Democrats no longer view the government...
Okay, I already read the statement from Joe Biden saying that this is not the American way.
...job as protecting honest citizens from criminals.
By the way, they were not in a riot at all. It was a peaceful march through their neighborhood, but
rather protecting criminals from honest citizens. Not a single person in the out-of-control mob you saw at our house was charged.
It wasn't out of control. They did not break any laws.
With a crime.
Yeah, because they didn't break any laws. That's how the justice system works.
But you know who was?
You were.
We were.
Yeah.
They've actually charged us with felonies for daring to defend our home. On top of that, consider this. The Marxist liberal activist leading the mob to our neighborhood stood outside our home with a bullhorn screaming, "You can't stop the revolution." Just weeks later, that same...
You know, equal rights, that revolution.
Marxist activist won the Democrat nomination to hold a seat in the U.S. House of Representatives. In the city of St. Louis, that's the same as winning the general election. That Marxist revolutionary is now going to be the Congresswoman from the 1st District of Missouri. These radicals are not content with marching in the streets.
You know, democracy.
They want to walk the halls of Congress. They want to take over. They want power. This is Joe Biden's party. These are the people who will be in charge of your future and the future of your children.
They're not satisfied with spreading the chaos and violence into our communities. They want to abolish the suburbs altogether by ending single-family home zoning, This forced rezoning would bring crime, lawlessness, and low-quality apartments into
to your gated community. Yeah, honey, America's with you on this one.
Now thriving suburban neighborhoods. President Trump smartly ended this government overreach, but Joe Biden wants to bring it back. These are the policies that are coming to a neighborhood near you. So make no mistake, no matter where you live, your family will not be safe in the radical Democrats' America.
At this moment in history.
Could there be a better background for these two? I'm assuming this is their home.
If you stand up for yourself and for the values our country was founded on, the mob, spurred on by their allies in the media, will try to destroy
Oh, it's the media now, too. Okay.
you. You've seen us on your TV screens and Twitter feeds. You know that we're not the kind of people who back down. Thankfully, neither
with your finger on the trigger. Yeah, we can see that.
is Donald Trump. President Trump will defend the God-given right of every American to protect their homes and their families. But more than that, Trump's vision for America is a country where you have an opportunity to work hard and build the life you dream of with a job you love, with your children being educated in great schools, in a community where your family can play in the backyard without fear, worship in a church without shame, and express your beliefs without retribution.
Who's shaming people who work in churches or worship in churches? Is he talking about the COVID thing?
Trump brought us the greatest economy our country had ever seen.
Not true.
The Democrats have brought us nothing but destruction.
Actually, the economy since the 1950s has been much better under Democrat. Well, since the war, really. Let's just give them an extra 6 years, 4 years. The economy's always been better under the Democrats than under Republicans, but okay.
When we don't have basic safety and security in our communities, we'll never be free to build a brighter future for ourselves, for our children, or for our country.
You just throw the word white in front of all of that.
That's what's at stake in this election, and that's why we must re-elect Donald Trump. God bless you.
Okay, but this, again, this happened to you with Donald Trump in charge. What part of this is confusing to them? Because Trump's already in charge.
God bless the president.
And God bless these United States.
Let's move on from him, see what else Trump was tweeting. Yeah, so they have I'm almost done, folks. I'm out of words. They have a Republican president. They have a Republican governor. Mike Parson is the governor of Missouri. The last time I checked, St. Louis is in Missouri. How are the Democrats doing this to them? How is Joe Biden somehow making them unsafe? Oh, you know what it is? It's the media. That's who it is. You know what? I think we've seen enough. We probably have. Who's this?
Good evening.
Oh, this is the dumbest man on the internet. This is Charlie Kirk. We got to watch this.
It's an honor to be with you tonight. My name is Charlie Kirk. I run the largest pro-American student organization in the country, Turning Point USA, fighting for the future of our republic.
Yeah.
So
he always, I follow him on Twitter because he's hilarious. He always says, he asks the stupidest questions and puts the emoji that's like, They're always insanely dumb. They always have very obvious answers. And he always says something like, Democrats killed 400 babies in a preschool in Dallas. Why don't we stop them from doing that? Why doesn't Joe Biden stop eating babies? And then he never puts a link. So you're like, wait, what happened? Never a link. Does not know how to use a link on Twitter.
To you in my personal capacity tonight as a 26-year-old, I see the angst of young people as well as the challenges.
26-year-old virgin.
Facing new parents. I am here tonight to tell you, to warn you, that this election is a decision between preserving America as we know it.
Tell us all that you know about America, Mr. 26-year-old.
And eliminating everything that we love. For decades, ruling class leaders in both parties sold out our future to China, to faceless corporations, and to self-serving lobbyists.
Okay.
They did it to preserve their own power.
Those faceless corporations, those are American corporations, by the way. So your problem is probably with the Republican Party more than the Democrats, but let's move on.
And enrich themselves, all while rigging the system to hold down the good, decent middle-class patriots striving to build a family and pursue a decent life.
That is called trickle-down economics.
All of this changed dramatically in 2015 when a billionaire named Donald Trump put his own life of luxury on the line. From that moment he came down that famous escalator, he started...
That's an elevator. The escalators are like this.
A movement to reclaim our government from the rotten cartel of insiders that have been destroying our country.
Cartel?
We may not have realized it at the time, but Trump is the bodyguard of Western civilization.
Okay, that's white civilization.
Trump was elected to protect our families from...
Well, I'm just looking for the white power symbol.
The vengeful mob that seeks to destroy our way of life, our neighborhoods, schools, churches, and values.
No, they want part of that way of life. They want a piece of that pie. That's what they're after.
President Trump...
Oh, except for the anarchists. They just don't want anything.
...was elected to defend the American way of life.
Okay.
The American way of life means you follow the law.
And you have both of your sons serve in the military. No, sorry, that's Biden. God damn it, I screwed that up.
You work hard. You honor God. You raise your kids with strong values. And you...
I said escalator. Did I not say escalator? Yeah, he came in on an escalator. Did I not?
Work to create a civil society. The American way of life means you speak your mind without retribution.
No, that is not what the American way of life is. There can be retribution for things that you say. That, for example, fire, crowded theater. Literally the same thing as it's just the flu, don't worry about it. During a pandemic.
Without being kicked off social media by a self-righteous censor in Silicon Valley.
Oh, Charlie was kicked off of Facebook or something. Oh, you know, the way the First Amendment specifically says, hey, social media companies, hey, private entities, you don't have a right to... First Amendment is about government not making laws against infringing upon free speech. It's not about Twitter.
It means you can freely practice your religion, and that church is more essential than a casino. And it means that we judge people on their actions, not on their immutable characteristics. The American way of life is being dismantled by a group of bitter, deceitful, vengeful activists who have never built anything in their lives. They have us locking up pastors while releasing violent criminals from prison. We are kicking doctors off of social media, yet promoting Chinese state-funded propaganda on major...
Yeah, but the doctors are giving the wrong advice. I mean, the demon spawn lady? Come on, Charlie.
Tech platforms.
The pandemic people?
This election is the most critical since 1860, when a man named Lincoln was elected to preserve the Union from disintegration. This election is not just the most important of our lifetime, it is the most important since the preservation of the Republic in 1865. By re-electing Trump, we will ensure that our kids are raised to love our country and respect its founding fathers, not taught to hate or be ashamed of them. We will build monuments to heroes, not burn down our cities. We will be a country that rises to higher heights, that dreams big, thinks big.
Has he never read the Constitution? The whole 3/5 of a person? The whole women don't get to vote? The whole white guys without land don't get to vote? Has he never?
And achieves the impossible. A country that values our remarkable journey, the complexities of our past, but clearly communicates to the next generation that we have to be grateful, not angry, that we live in the United States. We will be a...
But you can make it better. Like, you're saying everything is perfect then in the United States and we don't want to change anything? Because that is not the message that you've been sending out. You're constantly calling for change. You're calling for change right now. This is a very liberal speech.
Country that makes it easier to have many children. Live quiet and peaceable lives and worship your God without a tyrant getting...
What? Hold on. Makes it easy to have many children? What is he talking about?
To the next generation.
Yeah.
That we have to be grateful, not angry that we live in the United States.
Yeah.
We will be a country that makes it easier to have many children.
What is he talking about? Just leave his hair alone, guys. How does Joe Biden make it harder to have many children? What the hell is he talking about?
Live quiet and peaceable lives.
Does anybody out there? I know a lot of pro-Trump people like to watch this and they're angry about it, and just the same way I watch Hannity. I get it. If you know what he's talking about, go to youtube.com/KevinlyFather. Let us in. How are the Democrats stopping people from having many children?
This is and worship your God without a tyrant getting in the way.
Okay.
We will be a country that has its best 100 years ahead. We will build a future where America remains the greatest country ever to exist in the history of the world. All of that is within our grasp if we secure 4 more years for the defender of Western civilization, our champion, my friend, the 45th President of the United States, President Donald J. Trump.
He is trying so hard to get laid. Okay, well, that's enough of that, kids. And Kevinly Daughter's about ready to get picked up here. So you guys have a good one. We will see you tomorrow. I imagine Trump's going to do something during the day. We'll cover that, and then hopefully cover some of the RNC tomorrow night. Boy, that was fun. And they've done it. They've changed my mind. That whole bit about Trump somehow not being responsible for anything that's happened in the last 4 years, I'm in. And now he's going to change course and make everything super great. Plus, I wish I could have many kids. But you know what? I was a virile man underneath the Obama administration. Yeah, you heard me. Underneath the Obama administration. And they said, you can't have a lot of kids, Kevin. They came to my door. They were jackbooted. And they're like, we got you surrounded. You're not allowed to have many kids. And then I was charged with a felony. Is that the America you want? Hold on, I'll see if I can pull up the Colbert opening.
Kevin, is this helpful to Joe Biden?
Wait, what? Hold on, we're coming back, kids. Coming back. Let's see if I can... Late Show, at Late Show. What is the Late Show? Let's see if it's on Twitter. Sometimes they put it up on the Twitter. No. Late Show with Nate. What is that? Oh, look at this. Canada's only late night talk show. Getting Late with Nate. Let's this guy do his own talk show on Twitter? What kind of a nut? Hold on. Gonna pull up the YouTube here, see if we can find the Late Show, because sometimes you get that stuff up there as well. Okay, Late Show with Stephen Colbert. There it is. Let's see if the opening is up here. Great moments in 38 minutes ago. This is it. Here we go. And I gotta hit volume. Give me a second.
not. But when he gets into the White House and feels the weight of the office that he has inherited, he will be so humbled that he will absolutely change, right?
Or he'll be the worst president in history.
Don't be so dramatic. You think maybe?
Oh, okay. So that was an ad for something else. Okay, let's go to the Hulu. Maybe we watch it there. Let's find out. Late Show? Stephen Colbert? Oh, come on. God damn it. All right, I can't do that. I can do it on another screen and bring it over there. Hold on. Okay. Frickin' Hulu, always asking for my password. Okay, and give me a second, guys. Anybody still here? Okay. Watch, it's going to show up on this screen as well. Okay, good. Give me a second. Come on. I'm not making a subscription change. Oh, I have to watch. Okay, so Hulu is trying to get me to subscribe to Hulu TV. I already have the Yahoo TV, so I can't do that. Yeah, so we're not watching it. And the chat room's gone anyway, so screw you guys. All right, guys. We will see you tomorrow. I can't watch Colbert right now because I'm on the West Coast. So there you have it. Be good to each other.